everybody, welcome to the Black Sheep Props channel. I'm Steve and I'm here to teach you the tips, tools, techniques, and materials for building your very own super cool EVA foam props. In our last episode, making an EVA Foam Fortnite Pickaxe, part 1, we built the entire body of the pickaxe with our stepped detail on both sides. We built the pieces that stack up on the pick end of the axe, and we built the 3 stacks that go up on the back end of the pickaxe as well. We also did the 2 circle details that go on both sides with the round corners and the little inset detail. Very nice. Everything came out perfect. No mistakes. Everything fits together like a glove. You saw how easy it was. You can do this. Take your time, measure, be careful, and you can knock this out of the park. So now in tonight's episode, making an EVA Foam Fortnite Pickaxe part 2, we're going to take all the pieces and the body and we're going to assemble all of it and see how perfectly it all fits together. And then we're going to move down to the handle. We're going to support our handle with something. We're going to do the 3 spikes down the handle. We're going to do the cap, the elbow-shaped cap on the end of the handle. And if you've been following along with us and you watched making an EVA Foam Viking axe, you saw one way that we support a prop from the inside. Tonight we're going to see a different way, so you're already going to have 2 of your own techniques for supporting the inside of a foam prop. So it's going to rock. Enough of me flapping my gums now. Let's get it. So if you're ready to hit it, let's make something. Okay, now we're going to begin to attach our side body parts. And right here. All of this, all the way over to here, needs to be contact cemented. Now what we're going to do real quick is we're going to get a real light heat seal. Just like that. Also heat seal the sides of these because we're going to be gluing here. Okay, now we have all 3 pieces contact cemented, and you know the drill. We wait 5 and then poof. All right, that's perfect. Beautiful. Now we're going to come in with this one. Very cool. Now we're going to do the other side. Okay, now we're going to begin to do some dremeling around the edge, and as usual, don't forget your dust mask. We've got some nice slight round edges now all the way around the outside. Okay, we're going to come in with the 220. We're going to start with that. Wow, that is turning out nice and smooth. Okay, now we're going to come in with our 320. Now we're going to heat seal it, and it's going to tighten it all up. Beautiful, nice and sealed. Look at how it has a little bit of a shine to it. The foam tightened up, very nice. Look at that. Sharpie our line. Okay, we've waited 5 minutes. Now we're going to glue the other one to the other side. Okay, so we marked our center line and we marked the 3/4 inch width. Okay, now everything's glued. We just wait 5 minutes and then poof, contact. Set it right in there like so, and same thing, we're going to bring it in. Okay, here's where our teeth are going to be positioned. So now we want to make a mark right here, and right here. See that? We just have the glue right down in the base on all of our teeth. Give it 5 minutes. We're going to put a little bit of super glue on the insides of these so that it attaches to the sides. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to put just a little bit. Take a piece of foam. We're going to smooth it out. We slide onto here. And our contact cement sticks right there. It isn't moving. And now we hold the teeth like this. See what we did there? We mixed our glues. We used contact cement right here so it locks it in place. But so that we're able to slide it down in place, which we wouldn't have been able to do if we had put contact cement on the insides of the teeth. We used super glue. That's right, because you can slide super glue till it bonds. So now look at that. Now we have a super tight bond all the way around. Now we're going to do that with the other teeth as well. So that is super tight. It almost seems like a ship from a movie. Okay, now we've made a paper template for a small detail piece we want on both sides of the body. So we're going to transfer this over to some foam. We'll mark where our contact cement is going to go. Okay, we have our two pieces cemented and we have the two sides of our body cemented. Now we'll wait a few minutes. Flush this up with the edge just like that. There's one side of the detail, there's the other side of the detail. Okay, now we're going to take our piece that's going to go along the back spine of our pickaxe and we're going to dremel the edges and round them off. We've got our super rough bit, we've got our dust mask on. Now we're going to take our slightly smoother bit. Beautiful. Now we're going to come in with our sanding sticks like we normally do. We're going to come in with our 220. Now we're going to come in with the 320. Boy, oh boy. Nothing like the Dremel and sanding sticks to really smooth your prop out. Now you know what we do after we Dremel and we sanding stick. That's right. Alright, now we're going to take a 5-minute break and we're going to clean up this mess because it is everywhere. There's super fine black dust everywhere. You always want to keep a clean workspace, so time out, we're going to clean up. Okay, so now we're going to come in with this top piece that's going to cover the back of this arch right here. And we're going to heat curve this a little bit so we get a little bit of a curve in it, so when we stick it to the back, it's going to put that much less pressure back here. And we're just going to bend it slightly like that, and we're going to hold it. Okay, so that's just enough of a curve in it. Okay, now our contact cement is dry, and if you notice, we drew a guideline here. I'm going to line that up right there with our Sharpie lines, which is perfect. See that, how we're lining it up right there? Just to make sure we get good contact all the way down. Look at that, that is tight. Okay, now these are the two pieces that are going to make up the dimensional piece that we're going to run along the top of here. So this side, okay, so we've got this part cut. We've already cut the ends, as you can tell right there. We're going to stick our knife through. We're on a slight bevel right now. So we've got a nice 45. We're going to continue that 45 all the way around this corner. Stay just inside your Sharpie line like this, and we'll show you what happens after. Boom. Okay, there we go. Now we have a nice bevel on this edge, and we'll show you why in a minute. And now we have a bevel on both sides, this side and this side. We keep our knife tipped. We have a bevel cut on the inside and a bevel cut on the outside on both pieces. And slight bevel on the front. Okay, we have our knife slightly tipped. We're going to stand our knife up as straight as we can get it because we want to do a nice pivot around this end. We're going to keep our knife at an angle, slight angle. Did you see how we went around that end? We stood the knife up so we can make a nice pivot. So we're not only pivoting with the tip of the knife, but this whole time we've had the knife on an angle. Now we've got a bevel here, we've got a bevel all the way around, and we beveled around that tight little end, and we did that by standing the knife straight up. So we've got beveled edges on these pieces, and we've got beveled edges on these pieces, and it's all going to go together perfectly. Okay, now one more detail piece is this piece is going to need to fold like this right here. So to help it do that, we're going to come around to the back, with not too deep, and we're going to come through here on an angle like so. Now we're going to come back to this side, not too deep, just enough to get under there, And we're going to cut a little piece out like that. Now what that does is that helps this piece bend. Okay, we're going to heat seal our pieces since they've been cut. Okay, now we've heat sealed all of our pieces. Now we're going to heat shape the ends a little bit, and I'll show you why. And then what we're going to do is we're going to slightly curve this, like so. Okay, we just need a little curve like that. See how they're both bent? And there's a reason why, because we're going to attach these two together. We'll wait a couple minutes and then we'll stick them together. We're going to line it up right on the edge, flush, just like that. And now we're going to line these up. We're going to bend our foam so that it all comes together right on the end. That is fantastic. So now what we're going to do is we're going to contact cement the inside edge of this piece and the edge of this piece. Lightly get in there like so, right on the edge, just like that. Just along the bevel cut, because that's where we want them to attach. Okay, now these two pieces are dry. We're going to attach this right in the corner like so. We're going to line our edge up nice and flush like that. Look at that. Man, is that cool. When you cut the two bevels and you line them up together, they make a sweet, sweet angle. We get our glue right on the bevel, just like that. We're going to get contact cement on this side now. And it's a thin coat, so we'll just give it a minute or two till it dries, and then we'll be ready to stick it together. You got to tap into your inner Peter Parker here, because you need some Spider-Man-like fingers here to keep things separated while you're still touching them together like we're doing right here. Line this corner up like so, stick it down, look at that, nice. Nice, nice, nice. Now we're going to have to really muscle this foam into place because it's a little bit long on one side. Watch this. Boop. We cut the bevel cuts all the way around the bottom so that when we attach it down, it'll sit flat on top of this. Okay, so what we did was we took our piece and we roughly traced around where we need to contact cement. Okay, now we're going to have to be very careful while sticking this down. We have the front tack down. So we're going to keep everything lifted up, but this side over here, we're going to lay it down as straight as we can as we go down the side, like so. See that? How we got to keep all this side lifted up while we stick our other edge down. Okay, now we have to come over to this side and we have to stretch it and stick it. Now we're going to put that all down like that. See what I'm talking about? Sometimes you just got to channel your inner Peter Parker and make sure that you've got all your fingers nimble and ready to hold portions of it up while you're using other fingers to stick portions of it down. That's not bad. Okay, here are our spikes that are going to go on our handle. Blade low, right through it. And we're going to finish cutting these out. Okay, there we go. Slight round edges everywhere. So we went from square edges to round edges. Just enough of a detail. Ooh. Okay, we got all three pieces heat sealed. Now we're going to make the end of our handle, and we're going to use a foam dowel for that. There, just like that. And there's our next cut. We simply took a dowel, we sliced it at a 45, and then we spun it around this way, and boop, just like that. So before we glue, we heat seal. Everything's dry. Flush all the way around, which we are there. Make sure everything makes contact. Ooh. Wow, that is a nice little elbow joint we created just by cutting a 45 and then spinning it around. All right. Okay, now we're going to start building our handle. We marked how much of the wood dowel is going to go up inside the body, and we marked where the bottom end of the handle is going to extend into the handle. Okay, we've drawn our piece of foam that's going to wrap around our wood dowel. We're going to come in with our ruler and we're going to cut this long cut on a bevel on both sides. And keep your knife tipped on a bevel. Contact cement along the edge. Now we're doing in the middle. We only want to go right to that mark. And we're going to rest this on this end of the foam. And we're going to bring another piece of foam down on this end and we're going to rest it. And we'll give that a few minutes and then, so what we're going to do is we're going to start this in the center, push down in the middle. It's not going anywhere. Now we're going to begin to roll it. Okay, now we're starting to come around to the other side. Now you're going to see why we cut the bevel. We'll start in the middle and we'll pinch it down, and kissing those two bevels together. Holy smokes, is that radical? Look at that. Woo! The trick when you're wrapping a piece of foam around a wood dowel is the beveled edges, because then the beveled edges go right together like that. Roll it just to get the seam tight. Gadzooks, that's crazy. We're going to be real here at Black Sheep Props. Kapow! That's right. That's what happens when you measure your stuff and you measure wrong and your foam doesn't reach and you've done all this gluing and all this preparing and it doesn't work, and then you get mad and you go, ah, and you break this over your knee and you throw it away. Once in a while you're going to mess it up, but it doesn't matter. Foam's cheap, wood dowels are cheap. Just get another one, measure the right distance, take a little more time and measure, and roll it up, and you saw how simple that was. Okay, now we're going to drill our hole in the end of our handle piece to slide onto there. So what we're going to do is you're going to have to gradually go up in drill bits. Get it right in the center. We're going to keep it as level as we can. There's the first bit, the second bit, the third bit, now the fourth bit. Gradually we increase the size of the hole by increasing the size of the bit. We'll glue the end of this and we'll slide it on. Edge of our foam. Now here's a technique we haven't done yet. Normally we do our contact cementing and we wait 5 minutes. But if we got this stick wet and we let it dry and we tried to stick it in here with dry contact cement, it won't go in. So we do it while it's still wet. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here, we're going to get it in there, and see that? It slides in because it's still wet. Now what we'll do is we'll leave it, and the moisture content in the contact cement will dry, and then the glue will adhere. So okay, now we have our spots marked. We're going to run a tiny bead right there. Hold it down so it bonds. Now we'll just continue it for the other two. There we go, all 3 spikes. Okay, now our handle's gonna come up and go straight into the bottom of the body. Dead center in the middle of the handle. So we're gonna line it up and we're gonna go for it. Okay, there's drill bit number 1. Here goes drill bit number 2. Drill bit number 3. Right into our pilot hole. Drill bit number 4. Perfect. Now it's nice, going to be nice and tight. We're going to get our contact cement out. We're going to do just the foam. Just like that. Okay. And now we're going to get a little bit of cement here where it's going to touch. Now we're going to let these 2 pieces dry. Okay, now both sides are dry. Now what we're going to do, get it nice and covered, and I mean covered. We're going to wedge it in there like so. Now they're stuck together now. Both of those pieces made contact. This foam has stuck to that foam, and then their dowel going up on the inside will eventually dry because the contact cement, the liquid in the contact cement will evaporate. And we have 1 detail left, and that's to wrap a collar around here. Okay, now we're going to cut out our collar piece. We're going to come through. We're going to have this nice bevel detail here on this end. So now we're gonna measure our length and then we're gonna cut it. Okay, we've got our mark right there, and that's also going to be a bevel. Now we have a bevel cut on both sides, so when it wraps around, they'll touch together perfectly. Now weight 5, start at the back, stick down. Okay, we're going to roll right around the handle like so. All along the seam, very tight. Now we come to the business end, where the two bevels come together, just like that. See that? We did it again. We did a wrap, and we used a bevel cut, and the bevel cut produces greatness. We've got the front, we've got the back, and we have our collar. We have our handle with our spikes and our nice end. Right on, check that out. This is bad. Everything went on here perfectly, just how we measured it. You saw how easy it was. You can do this too. Dig it. We did the whole body with the step details. We did our 3 stacks that we put on the back end of the axe. We did our faux teeth here. We did all of these stacks on the back. We saw how tough this little sucker was right here, but we did it. If you take your time, you can knock it out too. We also have our cool circle details with the rounded edges and the nice little inset there. And our whole reinforced handle with our spikes on the front and our cool elbow cap on the end. Super cool. This thing is the bomb. I love this. I love this. I say that about every build, but every build I do love. So that concludes making an EVA Foam Fortnite Pickaxe Part 2. Hope you liked it. If you did, give us a like, share us with a friend, and subscribe to this channel. And together we're going to go step by step through a lot more super cool builds so that you get the props you deserve. Thanks for coming. See you next time.